Alright everyone, it's time for the final recording session of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. They're the same game. Not even essentially, they are the same game. But you already know that because this is the last recording session. It's time for Magma Cavern. So, this dungeon is a bit of a step up in difficulty. It's really not that difficult, it's more of just an endurance test because this dungeon is about 26 floors or something. There's a rest point, obviously, but yeah, it's not a short dungeon. It goes on for quite a while, so be prepared because there's going to be a lot of water gun use here, considering that it's a fire type. Well, it's sort of a fire type dungeon crossed with a rock / ground type dungeon. As you can see, we got a Nidoqueen there, ground type. So, but this dungeon, if you're a water type, is not a problem at all. It's just Mount Blaze again. So, yeah, even grass types have a on-off. Well, they have a varying amount of. Well, your experience may vary. That's the term I'm looking for. With grass types, because look at ground type, and we saw Sandshrew back there, perfect with grass types to take out. But it's Magma Cavern for a reason, so there's going to be quite a bit of fire. But we really won't have any trouble with Squirtle in the lead here. Picked up Torment there, that's not very useful. Oh well. I believe, well I know that monster houses are pretty common. Well, not super common, but they're more likely to occur now that we're in one of the end game dungeons, of which there are 2, because the last dungeon's after this one. Yeah, careful of monster houses, because they are the worst thing to grace this planet. I still think Mystery Dungeon 2 has it much worse with them though, because not only do they start appearing much more, much quicker, at an earlier point in the game than this, but they're also much more prevalent. However, I think it's actually easy to deal with them in Mystery Dungeon 2, as long as you keep, I don't know, like a Spurn Orb or a Totter Orb in your inventory, and you've got the space for it too, which you likely will. Here though, not only are monster houses not very common, but they're not as bad as Mystery Dungeon 2's. They're really the same, I think, but I find that there's a little bit less Pokemon to deal with. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to finish this game. As much as I love this game, I always feel good about finishing a Let's Play. It doesn't matter what game it is, I always feel super happy to finish a Let's Play. Obviously this episode isn't the last episode, but this is the last recording session, so after this, no more talking for me. Until the next game, which will be Devil May Cry 1, which I'm very excited to record. And that also won't take anywhere near as long as this game, because it's like 4 hours. Alongside that, because Halo 2's finished, hopefully alongside that, Metroid 2 will start to go up, which will also be a very short game, so you'll get both Devil May Cry 1 and Metroid 2 going at the same time, which will be not for long, considering how short they both are, but interesting. Now I know that I want to do Metroid Fusion after Devil May Cry, or after whichever one finishes first, Metroid 2 or Devil May Cry 1, but after the second one of those finishes, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Because I have 2 more games that I really like to do by the end of the year. One of them isn't very long. Yeah, it's not super long. But the other one is one of the longest that I've done on the channel. So yeah, that's not right. But maybe it's shorter than I remember. Anyway. And I want to do those by the end of the year. I just don't know at what point I should start them. So it's April now. About to be May. That one is about 20 something hours. Well, actually, if that's the case, then it should be like 40 something episodes. Or maybe 50 at that. Yeah, probably in the 50s. So it'll be like Digital Devil Saga 2. So as long as I can just pump them out like DDS 2. I didn't miss a single week or a single day with DDS 2 uploads, and I'm super proud of that. That's also because I was constantly itching to play it. You know, I'd be playing Metal Gear Solid or something, because that's what I was playing at that time last year. MGS1, and I'm going, this is fun, but... Oh no, it was before that actually, it would have been Metal Gear 2. I was playing Metal Gear 2 and I go, I like this game, but it's not Digital Devil Saga 2. You know? If I could just do SMT games all the time, I would be fine with that. Because I was originally going to do Shin Megami Tensei instead of Digital Devil Saga. But I decided, you know, I love SMT1 when you can get into it, which can happen. It's strangely addicting. It can be very strangely addicting. And same with SMT2 after the first third of the game. But the beginning of those 2 games are a little bit sluggish. I still really like both of them though. Even now, and I'm sure to anyone who's only heard of them and seen them, you can't really understand the appeal of them or the strange addictive nature of them unless you get into the groove yourself and you play it for yourself and you get really into it. Because trust me, you will. It feels like Earthbound in some regard, because Earthbound has the same sort of feeling, where the beginning can be a bit slow, but you know, once you get into the groove, you just can't stop. Well, I do know a few videos that I will upload pretty soon. Well, first of all, before any of that, there's going to be a announcement video, which I need to record, or make at least, which is a pretty important one. But I also want to record some final Minecraft videos, because there is a devil and he's got me back into Minecraft at the moment. But when I mean final Minecraft videos, I really mean nothing new, not a continuing series or anything, but world tours of each of the worlds that we've had. And I mean every single one. I mean like the temporary one with Ben, if that world still exists. If the world with Ben still exists, then I'll definitely show that off. Unless it's one of the server worlds like Snap Townie or Orden, in which case those 2 are long gone. Snap Townie is, at least. I don't know, I haven't checked Orden in about 6 years. So. But yes, that means that I'll do a world tour of the Adventures worlds, of the Creations worlds, asterisk. I'll get more on that later. I'll do a world tour on the Chronicles world, Legends world, the temporary world with Ben. I think that's it, really. Because everything else after that Temporary Worlds was just the Chronicles episodes where we went back to Chronicles. And what I meant by Creations later is that Creations is going to be a little bit... also we're struggling with this Magmar here, but Henry's doing fine with the Mawile, so strange. But the Creations world, after... Because I remember after the Ender Dragon Egg episode where I made that god-awful volcano, there's a reason for that, by the way. Well, I was terrible and I was very lethargic throughout that episode, because I was just sick of Minecraft. I just didn't want to play the game anymore. The thing is with the Creations world is that it's sort of changed. It's not really a Let's Play world anymore. Well, not even not really. It's not a Let's Play world anymore because it's become my own personal world. So it's very, very different. There's a lot of stuff added to it, ton of new things to it. So I mean, you'll get to see what that stuff is when I do that world tour. But the reason I'll hesitate on that one, I'll do all the other ones first, is because, well, for one, I'm not playing on any of those worlds. I'm currently playing on the Creations world and just, you know, doing my own thing. Currently got an ocean base set up at a coral reef, building a pillager farm. So, yeah, I guess once I finish playing on it, at some point in the next few months, then I'll do a world tour of it. Because it's just, I'm not done with it yet, and I feel it would be weird if I did a world tour now, and then a few months later it's, oh, you know, I've added a few things to it, so... yeah, I can't think of any other games that I really want to record. I had this trouble a few times last year and the year before. I go, yeah, what do I want to record? I'm not sure what I want to play. But at this stage I'm set for the next 2. So I'm doing alright. I just need to narrate over Metroid 2, or I need to edit the rest of that, and I need to narrate over it like this. Which I hate doing. I hate post-commentary. I hate doing post-commentary, I mean. Because, I mean, I can't react to anything I'm doing at the moment. So, oh, we got to the 10th floor. You know, it doesn't mean anything because I'm not playing at the moment. I can't think of, oh god, what am I going to do next? How should I ration my max elixirs, stuff like that. I can't think that. I can't say that because I'm post-commentating and I know how things play out. Granted, Mr. Dungeon gameplay isn't exactly the easiest thing to commentate over, even in live commentary, but post-commentary, god, is such little to talk about because the nature of the game is that it's very repetitive, which isn't a bad thing. It's just how it is. So, oh well, it's almost done. And next dungeon will be a lot of fun because next dungeon is not my favourite. God, no, it's not my favourite, but certainly got a lot to talk about. In terms of this dungeon, though, Magma Cavern, there really isn't anything special about it. The only reason I remember this dungeon is because it's the second last dungeon and the one after all the filler. That's the only reason I remember this dungeon. But other than that, not really that interesting, this dungeon. We still have quite a bit to go on it, though, is the thing. You know, we still have about what? A few floors left. 8 floors. 8 floors till the rest point, I think. I'm not sure. It's very long. It's a very long dungeon. So, yeah, in terms of Let's Play plans, that's all sorted out, essentially. Yeah, I really can't think of anything that I really want to Let's Play that I can't wait to. There are tons of things I would like to do, but they're very long. Like Kingdom Hearts 1 would be fun. What else would be fun? Something like... some of the Metal Gear games would be fun, but I'd have to start at Metal Gear 1. Which is not a game that I enjoy. I don't like Metal Gear 1 at all. Metal Gear 2 though is a great game. I really do like that one. And the soundtrack's fantastic. I wouldn't mind doing Devil May Cry 2 actually. Regardless of the game's quality, it's very short and it wouldn't take very long to do. Both stories included, like it would only take not even 6 hours. Anyway, I got a new IQ skill there, so yeah, this is the point where IQ skills start to be really good. Yeah, like you can just dodge stuff easier. Just permanent buffs. Which I wish the game would let you know a little bit about, because you know, all my gummies have gone to Henry, because you know a lot of the early IQ skills are just stuff for the AI, but you know the later ones actually permanently buff your Pokemon. So yeah, it's sort of it's not very obvious at the start that it's going to be as good as it is. There are some crazy IQ skills much later on when you're at 900 IQ. Stuff like you can walk anywhere, you can walk over sky, you can walk over lava, you can walk on anything. Something like you can break through walls. So if I moved forward here and I had that ability, then the wall that's below me would be broken. Sort of in like a 3x3 area centered on your character. There's all sorts of crazy stuff like that. Like just permanent PP buffs. You just get more. You just have more PP at all times. Can't really think of anything else, but I know that there's some crazy good stuff. All after game stuff, really. You know. This game changes quite a bit in the aftergame, as far as I'm concerned. So I finally had to bite the bullet and use Max Elixir here. I think, I don't know if the PP saver skill is in this game or not. I know it's in the second game, but that's absolutely broken. Where you have like a 30% chance or something whenever you use a move to not use up any PP for it, which might not seem that great, and it doesn't activate very often, but you know, it's just, you really don't have to use up much PP in the second game, I've noticed. This game, however, you use up quite a bit. Granted though, that's because the rest floors in the second game are so forgiving. The rest floors everywhere. And yeah, okay. So that was unlucky. I despise this game when it does that. It just spawns you in a monster house. You know, if I was walking into the room here, I could at least see, hey, there's a lot of items there. Maybe I probably shouldn't go into that room, because that'll be a monster house. So, monster houses, I don't think I've explained them yet, because we haven't encountered one. So it's exactly what it looks like. You walk into a room that has a lot of items in it, and chances are that's probably a monster house, and monster houses just drop a ton of enemies on you at once. This one isn't too bad. There's actually only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enemies here, which is a lot more than we're normally used to, but, you know, some of the later monster houses can have you for like 15, which is just stupid. It sucks. Like, getting into a monster house, this one isn't too bad either, because it's just a bunch of Arbok, and they're really not too bad to deal with. But getting stuck into a bunch with, I don't know, like a Dragonite, a bunch of Dragonite all around you, is just, oh, it's the worst. But I mean, if you can, one, if you have an orb on you, like a Spurn Orb, I think is what it is, or it randomly teleports all the enemies on the floor or something, I think that's the Spurn Orb, whatever it is. Then you use it here, then all the Pokemon just get teleported randomly on the floor, so you probably won't have to deal with them. So yeah, orbs are incredibly useful for monster houses, and that's about it. But your inventory is so limited in this game already that I don't really go for it. So you may think, well, is it worth going through monster houses? Implying that you get the choice. But let's say that, yeah, you can tell a monster house that when you see it, you go, well, is it worth going through it? Chances are probably no. Because look, we've just got money, 2 TMs, and an orb. And God knows if those TMs are useful or not. If one of them was Ice Beam or something, you know, Ice Beam or Waterfall or something like that, I don't know. Then yeah, that'd be worth it. Bullet Seed, provided you don't have that stuff already. But, you know, because we do, doesn't really matter so much to me. So even once you finish the monster house, the music keeps playing. So we got Thief and Light Screen. Light Screen isn't that great in this game. So that Warp Orb would have been pretty useful there. But Light Screen isn't that useful in this game, nor is Reflect. It works about the same, but you really only want it for boss fights. Even then, just standard buffs do so well. And are a lot more useful in a bunch of different situations that Reflect and Light Screen, unlike their mainline counterparts, just aren't as useful. So, yeah. In terms of levels here, 26 and 25, 26, right? 27 and 25. We're doing alright. We're doing okay. I'd say by the end of the game, you want to be late 20s, early 30s. Hell, level 30 is already like a pretty comfortable level. And, you know, late 20s, if you beat the game at level 27, it'd be a little bit challenging, but nothing that you can't handle, really. You just really got to pay attention to what you're doing. And just pray for no monster houses, because they suck. They're the worst. I hate them. So I guess I was debating whether or not to go for that gummy. And I can't remember if you can be killed by poison in this game or not. Considering that it's Gen 3, then yeah, probably. But I couldn't remember, so I decided, hey, I'll just use the Iron Berry. Not using them too often, really. So I'd say a good indicator of a monster house is if you see a room and there's 3 or more items in it.